You're looking at 18 months for the stolen car, 5 years for impersonating a federal officer, or you can go home.
What do you want?
Get close to Hampton.
You ain't tell me it was gonna be like this. These ain't no terrorists.
We got a rat, man.
Does anybody else know about me?
No one knows your identity.
Are you sure?
LaKeith, lovely to see you today. How are you?
Quite good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Where in the world do we find you at the moment?
I'm in Beverly Hills.
Oh, that's slightly more plush than my mommy and daddy's kitchen. So I hope you're enjoying it there anyway. Congratulations, first of all, on the film. I know we've just recently had the premiere of the film, but it's already garnering these incredible reactions and reviews. Well, how does that make you feel, basically? Because it's a weird time to be sitting at home and going, oh, people like my film.
It's good. It's good. I'm happy for the positive reception. It means hopefully that more people will be able to experience the movie and experience Fred Hampton's story. And that's important. That's what we really set out to do, is just, magnetize the story that's all too often passed over and unseen. So the more the merrier, and people are enjoying it. That's great. That's great.
As you mentioned, Fred Hampton and his story, and that was something that I was like on the other side of the world. I'm slightly aware of that, but then this film opened my eyes up to your character, your person, Bill O'Neill as well, who I didn't know anything about. Would you mind just giving us a wee bit of background about him?
Yeah, I mean, he was, I don't know very much about him, to be honest. I mean, there wasn't that much available other than his interview that I saw from Eyes on the Prize in short and long form, a couple court transcripts, and a couple second and third hand accounts about the type of person he was with the FBI after having the incident with Fred Hampton. And I can say he seemed to be, to me, just a guy that was all about self-preservation, and it's sort of a metaphor for capitalism and what too much of an extreme can be, and result in hurting people and hurting yourself ultimately. So I think he's kind of that, kind of like an archetype of a Judas-like figure, in terms of infiltrating the Black Panther Party and then ultimately betraying them.
But there was one particular scene that stood out for me, and it's whenever you go to visit Jesse Plemons, his FBI character, in his house. And something that came across that really struck me is, like, I don't know if I've seen this in another film before, when his characters talking to you and asking you about a series of assassinations like Malcolm X and Martin Luther, and it's like, and your character's indifference to those events, which was something I felt like I haven't seen, just that dismissive kind of like, yeah, well, what was that like, trying to find the balance within the character? Because obviously these are huge moments and events that have affected Black culture and culture all over the world, but here you have this man kind of almost nonchalant in response to it. What was that like?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a perception, by and large, I feel like, that like Black people in America experience either extreme radicalization on one end or on the other. It's like I'm super gung-ho about race, or that I don't care at all and I'm apathetic. And there are these people who exist kind of in between, where it's like, yeah, I know that this stuff happened, but I'm still trying to get my money. Like today I gotta do this. Like I don't really have time to be sitting in the back talking about all this stuff. Like I gotta continue to push forward and survive. And so I think it's good that we were able to show a different aspect of what it means to be Black in America, which is, some people just trying to get what they got to get. And for me, I tend to be I care a little bit more about the civil rights aspect. And I'm really more like, I would have probably, if I imagine myself in that time, I'm more likely to be a Black Panther than anything else. But it was interesting to play around in the thought that, what if I just don't care at all, really? Or what if I'm more preoccupied? Yeah, I know he died, it's sad or whatever, but I'm trying to get some money. And I think that was more of William O'Neill's ideal. He wanted to also be free in kind of a way, like Fred Hampton wanted freedom as well, but what Bill O'Neill wanted freedom in, like monetary freedom, and he wanted freedom in power. He wanted freedom to not have to think about being Black necessarily. He just wanted to be powerful. And so I think that's an interesting aspect. So thanks for mentioning that, because most people don't even catch that.
No, that like just really stood out when I saw it. Well, listen, LaKeith, thanks again for your time. Congratulations. We will see you and Daniel in like a holy trinity now. That's 2 for 2. So fingers crossed you get another film together. But lovely to meet you. Chat to you later.
Peace.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't